Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Chiseled Adonis picks, pregame picks for the NFL. If you didn't know who the hell I am, I'm obviously the host of the show, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. First and foremost, tonight we start off with the Thursday Night Football game sponsored by MyBookie.AG, but that's actually not the sponsor for that particular game. It's the sponsor for this particular video. So go over there, bet you some money, and win you some money. First and foremost, we start with that game tonight. Vikings taking on the Rams in Los Angeles. The over-under for this game on MyBookie.AG is 49 points. I believe they will eclipse that number. Both teams will score over 25. Yes, you heard it here. They will score over 25. Why? That Rams defense is hellacious. That front four is monsterful. However, Marcus Peters is injured. Probably not going to play. He's listed as questionable, but I don't see him getting all those snaps. And if he's in there for the bulk of the game, I don't see how that ankle's going to hold up. Aqib Talib, he's now on injured reserve. I believe he's having surgery today. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nonetheless, he's getting surgery regardless. So in that secondary, I don't know how they're going to be able to follow around Stephon Diggs, or I should say Stephon TM28 Diggs, and also Adam Thielen outside, and Rudolph down the middle. So Kirk family member will be able to diversify the ball around. I think the Vikings will be able to bounce back. On top of that, Dalvin Cook did not play last week. He's looking to get on the field tonight, so we'll see how things play out for that offense. Defensively, the Vikings, I don't know if they're missing any pieces, but offensively for the Rams, they're still absolutely on fire. I expect to see them put up a lot of points. The way that I see it for the Vikings here is because they have a very good defense. The Rams have a very good defense. Offensively, the Rams have the best offense in the league, in my opinion. And the Vikings, they're no slouches themselves. They did drop an egg last week. I think they'll be able to bounce back. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. All right, but I'm going with the Vikings in the upset. I think the Rams take their first L this week. Although I was very high on the Rams coming into this game, I'm not going to say they're overconfident. I think the Vikings will be able to bounce back. I think that defense plays a phenomenal game. They give up some points, but I think they get into the end zone, whether it's Sandejo intercepting a ball or it's a Barr picking off a ball, or there's some fumble recoveries. I think there's going to be some havoc done by that Vikings defense, and they'll get some points on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think special teams will play a huge role in this game, but if it does, whoever wins the turnover differential, they win this doggone game. Next, Pats taking on the Dolphins. Over under for this game is going to be 48 points. If you remember last year on Monday Night Football, I believe it was, the Pats lost to the Dolphins in their last meeting between the two teams. I do not think this week, this game in particular, will replicate that exact same result. I think the Pats bounce back from losing 2 in a row, I believe. Is it 2 in a row? Yeah, I think it is 2 in a row. I think they bounce back. This game in particular, you have Josh Gordon making his debut for the New England Patriots. I don't expect him to have a huge game, but I would not be surprised if he has a huge game. As for the Dolphins, I don't know what they're going to be doing because they have an injury. I don't know if it's on the offensive line. No, it's on the defensive line. There it is. They have some injuries on the defensive line. So that same penetration they had last week, in which they were getting to Derek Vehicle and making Derek Carr move around, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that to Brady. As you saw, like I said, in the game against the Lions, if you're able to bring the pass rush with only 4, you can disrupt Brady. Last year in particular, in that week 14 matchup, they were able to do that. This week, with injuries on the line, I don't know how that's going to go down. As for the Patriots, I don't think Rex Burkhead's going to be playing, so Sony Michel and whoever the hell the other back is going to be, they're going to be getting the prime, a lot of the carries going into it. But I think the Patriots probably going to bounce back. Although the over-under is 48 points, I don't think it's going to be over. So I think it's going to be under. So if you went to MyBookie.AG, put the money on the under. Win you some money. Next, we got the Texans taking on the Colts. Over-under is 47 points. I think this game in particular, it's going to be under 47, but the Texans get their first win on the season. The Colts have been playing all right. Like I said in my prior video, they've been playing all right, but I think the Texans they got a long overdue victory. All right, they probably feel bad about losing to the Giants. You should. Week 1, they lost to the Patriots. All right. Week 2, I can't remember who they played, but they lost that game. It was games where the defense did not really know how they sync together. I think they're starting to understand how to work together. So I expect them to be able to get after Andrew Luck. As we know, the offensive line for the Colts is nothing really serious. So I expect them to be able to get a lot of sacks. I think this is going to be a touchdown differential between between both teams, but I see the Texans winning this game, getting their first victory on the season. Sorry, Indianapolis, you'll probably bounce back next week, unless you have a bye week, of course. I don't know your schedule, but you're going to take this L this week in particular. Next, we got the Bengals taking on the Falcons inside Atlanta. Atlanta bounced back after losing last week. I believe they win this game. They move to 2-2. Julio has himself a huge game. Let's point out something. One, AJ Green, he will be playing, although he did injure his groin. I don't know what the percentage of, if he's back to 100%, if he's at 70%. I don't know how things are going to play out. I don't expect him to have a big game. As for the Falcons, Devontae Freeman, they still don't know if he's going to be back or not. It's still listed as questionable, but more towards doubtful. Hopefully, an update down the road. But if he does play, then that's definitely a victory for the Falcons. But I'm expecting Matt Ryan to be able to sling the ball around as he's been doing the entire season. Last week, coming off 5 touchdowns. I don't expect him to throw 5 this week in particular, but I think he's going to be able to put up 4, and they're going to beat these Bengals here, who's coming in hot at 2-1. I shouldn't really say coming in hot. They just came off the L train, but nonetheless. All right, Bengals, you lose this game. Andy Dalton, 3 interceptions last week, maybe 4. I know for a fact there was 3. But this Falcons defense, which is depleted, you should be able to put up some points. The over-under for this game is 52.5. I don't think it's going to be that high. I think they're probably going to have 3 touchdowns apiece. Some field goals here and there. Probably combined, they're going to end up putting up like 48, 45, around that area. But the Falcons win this game. Next, Packers taking on the Bills inside Lambeau. The Packers win this game. Josh Allen looked all right last week playing against the Vikings. They played at home, but now going on the road, you already know how Aaron Rodgers plays inside Lambeau Field. I can't bet against that man playing at home. He plays stupendous in there. And on top of that Bills defense, I don't really trust them. They did well last week, but I don't think they could replicate that exact same success. All I got to say is Rodgers is something serious. The Packers win this game. Sorry, Bills Mafia. The Packers win this game. Next, Cowboys taking on the Lions. Now, this game in particular, it's gonna suck for the Cowboys. They playing at home, they about to lose. Why? Because there's no more Sean Lee. He got hurt again. The Cowboys, how they gonna go to the Super Bowl without Sean Lee? So, it's gonna be very tough for these guys coming in there because they're already depleted offensively, with the offensive line being in absolute shambles without Frederick there. Now, on defense, they lost the person who was the glue to their defense in Sean Lee. So, how the hell they expect to go out there and win against this Lions team that's riding high off defeating the New England Patriots? So I don't see how any of their cornerbacks are going to be able to guard Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, or Golden Shower Tate. So I'm expecting Matthew Stafford to go out there and light them up. As for the offense of Dallas, they've been struggling over this season. The tail end of last season, I don't know if they're going to be able to get it together. So we'll see how things play out. And on top of that, seeing how that front four played for the Lions this past Sunday Night Football against the Patriots, now going up against the Cowboys front line, God, it's going to be a massacre. Cowboys, you guys lose this game. The Lions, this over-under for this game is 43 points. I think the Lions probably going to score like 27, but I don't think it's going to be over because I don't see Dallas putting up 2 touchdowns. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Lions for this game in particular. Next, we got the Jets taking on the Jaguars. Over under 38.5 points on MyBookie.AG. Now, this game in particular, a lot of people going to talk about, oh, well, the Jags just lost to the Titans. So, if they go out there against the Jets, what if they play the same? I think the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game. Now, there are some talks about Leonard Fournette possibly returning. He did practice this week for the first time since the injury. However, we don't know if he's going to play. Nonetheless, I see them being able to get this W. Why? Because the Jets is coming in. Sam Darnold's turning the ball over throughout the season. It's not anything serious, but he has a reputation of throwing some to the other team. Jacksonville has a reputation of taking those turnovers and turning them into points. I think the defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars score twice this game. It's going to be similar to how they played against Los Angeles, the Chargers last year, when that game-winning defensive touchdown. It ended up being the go-ahead score or the tying score, something along those lines where the defense leads the game for the team. I think that's going to be the case for them. The Jets defense, I think they're going to do all right against the Jags offense, but defensively, I think Darnold's going to give the ball to the Jags a couple of times, and they're going to turn that into points. So I'm rolling with the Jags to win this game in particular. Next, the Bucs taking on the Bears inside Soldier Field. Now, this game in particular, I would love to choose the Bears. Why? Because 2 words, Khalil Mack. I would love to choose that dude and the Bears to win this game because he's a Gruden grinder. But the Bears offense, especially their pass game, hasn't been taking off the way I predicted them to. And the issue here is the Bucs probably going to end up being led by Fitzpatrick. They're scoring on the better majority of their drives. The Bears probably have 1 good drive, 2 good drives. It's similar to what I said about the Ravens, where Flacco puts maybe 1, maybe 2 good drives together, and the rest of the game there's none. The Bears, you're lucky to get 1. If it's not working on the ground, I don't trust Trubisky to put it through the air. This guy has a high ceiling. I don't know what the deal is. If it's not clicking yet, I don't know what it is. But this offense for the Bears, they need to score if they want to win this game. The Bucs in particular, their defense still in peril. You had now a biceps injury to Gerald McCoy on the line. So how things play out for their defense, who knows? Maybe this game I'm not expecting it to be no shootout. I'm not expecting high points at all. But the defenses are going to be what dictates the win for this game. But I'm rolling with the Bucs. I think they bounce back from that Monday Night Football loss. Chris Conte, you're now on injured reserve. I hope you never shop, or I should say shop. You don't shop at McDonald's. Hope you don't go get food at McDonald's. When you see a McDonald's, go to Wendy's, go to Burger King. Stay away from anything named McDonald's. You on injured reserve? Listen, cook your own food at home. Don't go off fast food no more. You don't want to see nothing dealing with no McDonald's. But nonetheless, Bucs, you guys win this game. Over under for this game is 46 points. I don't think they pass 46 points. So go to MyBookie.AG. Under. Bet on the under. Win you some money. Next, Eagles, Titans, 41 over under. Eagles, I think they win this game. Mariota is still coming. I don't see his health at 100%. The Eagles, Carson Wentz coming in. I think this is going to be the game in which he gets the offense back, and it's some, I'm in regular season mode where he looks like he's in mid-season form. I think that's going to be the game for him. I expect this guy to go out there, light him up, maybe 350 yards, at the least 4 touchdowns. I don't think he turns the ball over. I think he's going to destroy this Titans defense. I don't know why. It's just a feeling that I'm getting. I would matter of fact, no, I would bet the over on this game. Yeah, I'm betting the over. As for the Titans, you guys are riding the L train. Next, we got the Seahawks taking on the Cardinals in Arizona. This game is gonna suck. I'm choosing the Seahawks to win this game. Rosen, I believe this might be his first start. Yeah, this is gonna be his first start. I expect him to turn the ball over a good number of times. Maybe 3 interceptions, maybe 2. Whatever it is, the defense for the Seahawks are gonna win this game. And on top of that, the defense for the Cardinals, it's not that great. So Russell Wilson probably going to be able to air the ball out around the field, all the other stuff. And on top of that, Doug Baldwin might be coming back as well. So if Patrick Peterson, he's one of those, he's the number 1 corner who follows people around. But if there's a situation in which he's not following Doug Baldwin around, then I expect that man to get into the end zone a couple of times as well. So I'm choosing the Seahawks to win this game. Over under for this game is 39 points. I'm rolling with the under on MyBookie.AG.com. Now next, it's actually not MyBookie.AG.com. It's just MyBookie.AG. Because if it was already a dot, why would there be another dot? But then again, there's websites that got that. But we ain't talking about that right now. Now, we got the Browns taking on the Raiders. Browns, first victory. They're coming in hot, but this will be the first victory for the Raiders. A lot of people rolling in high on Baker Mayfield, which you should be. However, I think in this game in particular, the Raiders offense will finally click. And on top of that, that Browns defense has been doing all right. They have been doing all right, but I think the Raiders offense will click. I don't see the Browns being able to stop Marshawn Lynch. I think this is going to be one of the games where you're like, whoa, they turned back the clock. If he gets 20 carries, he will have over 150 yards. However, if he only has between 12 and 15, he's only going to be about, let's go 80 yards. If I'm Gruden, run the ball. That'll open the play action fake. Now Amari Cooper's gonna have that one good game he has every month. He'll have it against the Browns. So if I was you guys, I would start giving the ball to beast mode, open the play action fake, and then in the second quarter, Amari Cooper down the field. Amari Cooper down the field. Amari Cooper down the field. Jared Cook. That's what you gotta do. You'll win the game. But I'm rolling with the Raiders. John Gruden finally gets his first W. He goes to the podium and says, now that's a group of Gruden grinders. Next, we got the 49ers taking on the Chargers. There is no Jimmy G. I am rolling with the Chargers. They get themselves a W. All right, they're moving to 2-2. I expect them to win down there. Unfortunate for the 49ers, you're dealing with injuries for the Chargers. However, there is an injury to Keenan Allen, if I do remember well. So hopefully he's able to play. He is the number one target for Phillip Rivers, and they need him on the field. All right, we don't need the injury bug to come back to bite the Chargers once again, because over the course of the last 8 years, if you're a Chargers fan, I apologize. You should be firing whoever the hell your strength and conditioning coach has been. Every year, it should have been somebody different, because it's atrocious what the hell's going on with these injuries out there in, I want to say San Diego so bad, but going out so bad, what's going on in Los Angeles. All right, whatever the hell the strength and conditioning coach has been doing needs to be fired. Darn near it's grounds for lynching. There's no reason why people are season-ending injury every single year. It's ridiculous. All right, but I'm rolling with the Chargers to win this game. The 49ers going with their backup quarterback, which I believe is CJ something. Well, guess what, CJ? All you had to do was follow the damn train, and you won't follow the damn train that happens to be the L train, buddy. So you're losing this damn game. Next, we got the Giants taking on the Saints. Now, if you remember well, the Giants that played the Saints last time, the last time these two teams met up, I believe it was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, lit up the scoreboard. I think it was like 51-48 or 48-45, whatever it was. Defenses were not present. I expect the same thing to happen. Why? Because the Saints had another cornerback get hurt. And if you see the way their defense has been playing this season, it's not that good. As for the Giants, their defense played a good game last week against the Texans. However, there still is holes on their defense, and Drew Brees will exploit those. So I'm expecting both offenses to have a good game. However, this is the issue. The Saints D-line, especially dealing with Cameron Jordan, him in particular, which I believe he has an injury he might be dealing with himself. But I expect him to play. I believe they said he was very probable of playing. But that Saints pass rush is still, present. It's nothing serious, but it's still present, and we know the woes of the offensive line of the Giants. So I'm expecting this to be a high-scoring game. The over-under for this game is 50 points and a half. I'm going with the over. I expect both teams to be in 30 points. I believe this will be the game in which Odell Beckham says, I'm back from injury. But I'm rolling with the Saints to win this game. Sorry, Giants fans, you just got on the W train. Well, you might as well transfer to the L train. Oh, and Saquon Barkley, he's about to have a good game. Not on the ground, but through the air. I think he's going to have like 7 catches, well over 120 yards through the air. It's going to look like what Alvin Shinsuke Nakamura's numbers were looking like in the first game. Oh, and by the way, he's also dealing with an injury too, but he's probable to play. I expect him to have a great game as well. But I'm rolling with the Saints and the dreadlock powers that they have on the offensive side. Oh, Mike Thomas as well. Great game coming up. Next, Ravens, Steelers, Sunday Night Football. Before I get into that, let's move to Monday Night Football, because I got to talk about the Steelers last. We got the Chiefs taking on the Broncos. Over under for this game is 55 points and a half. I am rolling with the Broncos. Upset alert. Woo woo. Upset alert. The Broncos win this game over the Chiefs. They are division rivals. They know how to play each other well. As for the Chiefs, Mahomes is lighting it up. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Von Miller always makes his presence felt against the Chiefs. This man is going to change the game his damn self. I think he goes out there, probably has 2.5 sacks, forced fumble recovery, maybe an interception, or he tips the ball and causes an interception. That man is going to be a one-man wrecking crew. It's prime time games. He's going to show up with the goggles, his big booty, bodacious girlfriend going to be in the goddamn stands. It's going to be beautiful. All right, Law and Order Case Keenum's going to be slinging the ball around, might I add. Remember, I always tell you, these Andy Reid defenses are always the same. Give up a lot of yardage, don't give up touchdowns. Well, guess what? This game in particular, they're going to be giving up some touchdowns. I think this game's going to be over 55 points. I expect Emmanuel Sanders to get into the end zone. I expect Demaryius Thomas to get into the end zone. On the Chiefs side, I expect Kareem Hunt to go in there. I expect Travis Kelce to go in there. Matter of fact, no. Travis Kelce playing against the Broncos, I don't expect him to have a good game. However, Tyreek Hill on the other hand, I believe him to have a good game. Also, Chris Conte out there, expect that. Not Chris Conte, Chris Conley. Expect him to have a good game. Sammy Watkins, vertical threat down the field. I expect a big time pass to him. Only one though, but I'm expecting a lot of yards in this game. A lot of yards, high points. All right, but like I said, upset alert. Woo, woo, rolling with the Broncos. And finally, Sunday Night Football, Ravens taking on the Steelers. AFC North, bad blood, best rivalry in the NFL. I expect this game to roll with the Steelers. However, because the offensive line, they're saying they're hopeful that the Castro will be back. They're hopeful that Marcus Gilbert will be back. And if the two of those guys are there, I think the Steelers win this game and there won't be any debate about it. Now, for the Ravens, offensively, this is where the problem lies. Because defensively, I think they're going to do a good job. I think they're going to take the ball away from Ben a couple of times. However, on the offensive side for them, I think they're going to throw the ball to the Steelers a couple of times. Because their offensive line is nothing very special. Now, they're not terrible. They're not atrocious. They're not. But they give up some penetration here and there. And if the Steelers run those blitzes that they were running on Monday night, it's going to be a long day for Joe Flacco. It's going to be a long day for Joe Flacco. However, I think this game is going to come down to a field goal. And if it's the Ravens who have to kick it, Justin Tucker, who is the best kicker in the league, I think he wins it for the Ravens. Now, if it's Boswell who has to make the game-winning kick, I think he gets back on track against the Ravens because emotions are going to be high. He's going to have to perform. But I expect this game, the over-under for this game in particular is 50 points. I think it's an under. I think this is going to be one of them games where it's 17-14, 21-17, 24-21. It's going to be down to the wire. Last possession wins this game, but obviously I'm rolling with the Steelers. Now, with both of those guys on the offensive line returning, if they return, I believe this is a touchdown differential, but if they are not, it's still a field goal. I am rolling with the Steelers. However, I would not be surprised if the Ravens win it by a field goal. Justin Tucker putting it through the uprights in Heinz Field. Instead of everybody drinking ketchup tonight, they're drinking mustard, and that's coming in from Baltimore. Who drinks ketchup and mustard? You're supposed to put it on top of something. Nonetheless, we ain't talking about that. Those are my picks for NFL Week 4. Now, if you want to go win you some money, don't be a dummy. Don't worry about me. I'll be at MyBookie.AG making my bets. The over-under. They also have different ways to bet if you want to make money as well. All right, just go over there, bet. If you don't like my picks, bet against me. Prove me wrong and then show me the money. Then give me your address so I can show up and rob you at once. But nonetheless, this has been the show. I am your host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis, and I am signing out.